How do you rest your body, mind, and spirit? What I will share with you are two things. The first, what I believe in the interconnection of mind and body and spirit. And the second is what I practice in order to rest and recreate my mind, body, and spirit. First of all, I believe that mind, body, and spirit must be in harmony for all of them to function well. There was a year when I went for physical tests and laboratory exams, and there was nothing wrong with my body, but since I was encountering some emotional problems, I felt weak and my resistance to sickness was very low. When the body is truly unwell and in pain, it is not easy to achieve calmness, and the mind does not have the clarity to deal with problems. A co-researcher of mine whose name is Maruja Moragas, whose life story I translated from Spanish to English, was diagnosed with liver cancer when she was then 61 years old and given 6 months to live, and yet she was able to write her autobiography with extraordinary depth and maturity. On the other hand, I met a lady who at 70 years old was always almost daily talking about how she will die soon, although she had no worse ailment. She died at the age of 90, and many of her loved ones think she could have still worked on many projects for those 20 years of waiting and wanting to die. So Maruja was actually very sick, but her spirit was extraordinarily well, that she had that fighting spirit to battle the cancer that was consuming her body until she could finish all her autobiography. And my other acquaintance was actually well, but she was moving through time in a purposeless journey, just going through life, not doing anything significant, just wanting to encounter death at any bend. So the body can also be affected by our mind. It is said that we are what we think, and some people are controlled by fear, and the sight of what they fear, like an animal, can make their body immobile. I have not reached that stage myself, although I am afraid of dogs and cats. Someone said that hatred is like cancer that consumes the body, and even superhero movies can depict the enemies with body contortion and face distortion, showing how much hatred can affect the physical features of the body. And what about the spirit? How does it fall out or in harmony with body and mind? I remember about the early Christian martyrs in Rome. It could be in the film Quo Vadis, which is 1951 film, and how the emperor gets really mad to see those faces of martyrs and how they showed happiness after they were fed to the lions. In this regard, the body could be in pain, but the spirit is happy to know that death was for a worthy cause. In contrast, some people might have all the amenities in life, no body pain at all, but they can feel an emptiness of spirit that they are not getting anywhere. They are still not happy. So what can I share with you as my proven strategies to rest and recreate body, mind, and spirit? What has worked for me is regular and constant separation from my usual tasks, working on the computer. The meal times are my rest period from the digital screen and reconnection with family and friends. And although I do not do this on a daily basis, I find time to relax through walking. We Filipinos are not used to walking. We have the tricycles or the jeepneys to bring us to short distances. But it was only when I studied abroad that I got used to a lot of walking. In London, I would walk for 32 minutes to Imperial College, where I did my master's degree. In other days of the week, when school was not my destination, it would take me 14 minutes walking from home to the underground station in Sloane Square. When I spent 4 years doing the doctoral degree in IESA Business School in Barcelona, Spain, I would always take the time to walk down the hill, and it would take me about half an hour to reach home. And the pleasant sight of trees reduced significantly the stress of the doctoral studies, including the conversations in 2 different languages, which is Spanish and Catalan. And coming back to my country, even if I would take the jeepneys and I would sense that the destination is near, I would clarify with fellow passengers or the driver, and they would say that, well, it's 45 blocks away, but I wouldn't mind walking. I get more stressed sitting in the traffic. I would say that nature is my greatest therapist for all the mind, body, or any spiritual ailment. I love walking, especially during the golden hour before sunset, to appreciate, and sometimes I would take photos or videos of the contrast between the shadows and the bright light. I love sunsets or sunrise if there are opportunities to witness them, especially in out-of-town trips or long vacations. The sunset or the sunrise for me really depicts democracy because it shows itself to the poor and the rich alike. In one Facebook photography group, someone remarked that a sunset photo was much better in a European country. But I disagree with that. I think a sunset is plain beauty by itself, and it can just be edited to make it look better. I recently missed the sunset, but I was still able to take photos of the lights, and I shared that in an Instagram reel and got many likes. Those photos were taken in one province here in the Philippines. Not all of nature relaxes me, and this is something that you have to find out for yourself for your own discovery. What really makes you relaxed in nature? It's very important to know which does not give you rest. For me, the strong winds make me recall the time that we got caught with strong winds in La Costa Brava in the Spanish coast. The family owner of the motorboat sensed that strong winds were coming, so he drove us, I and my friends, he drove us back to the shore in a very fast way that I could see the walls of the waves at my left and right. I sometimes think that then I was given another chance for life. I would still take the boat. I don't have trauma, but I would rather wait for peace and calm to return to the sea to ride any boat. Another experience of strong winds was one day I was walking in the streets of London and the strong winds came, and my friend who was used to it told me to hang on to a street post. And when I saw the movie Mary Poppins with her and the nannies being blown away, I could say that it almost happened to me too, to be blown away. You know, it's better to appreciate nature with others like your family and friends. They don't even have to be with you all the time, but at least they can help you with tips of what to notice, what to focus on, especially if they love nature also. I remember taking a road trip from England to Scotland with a Scottish friend, and along the way, she would tell us once in a while about how the grass is physically greener, literally greener, once we reach the border. Of course, I was all prepped to see the greener grass, and my vision cooperated such that I really agreed with her that the grass has a different special green once we reach Scotland. So here in this nature sanctuary in the campus of the university where I am residing right now, I have friends who will share with me their love for birds and cats and dogs. And I normally don't like cats and dogs, but I could live with them. Last week, I went to my annual spiritual retreat, and for me, it's typically 5 days of silence during the year, once a year, where I and other participants get for half-hour of meditation preached by a priest. Then there is Holy Mass, which is half an hour, and Benediction, which is a quarter of an hour. The rest is individual reflection. So the day's activities finish at around 5:45 in the evening, and from then on, we could go on our own. Like I would go walking. One day, I accompanied my friend who was swimming alone in the swimming pool. I didn't like to swim that time, but I knew I could accompany her because there was an accident that happened in the past amongst our friends, and it was an accident, so we would never leave anyone alone swimming. And then on other days, I would walk around, and here I show you some photos of the scenery where I was during my retreat. But I don't give time to spiritual exercises only once a year. I have daily practices to converse with God in prayer, which is half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the afternoon. And for resting my mind, I turn to topics that are not related to work. It can be listening to audiobooks. I like listening to a professor who would explain to me the classical music and the artists. Or other days, it can be one day watching a Korean TV series, and I appreciate the new things I learn about other cultures. Other days, it can be listening to podcasts of other educational topics. And in all of this, one integrative aspect of rest is having sufficient sleep. Without sleep, the body and the mind get lethargic, and even my times for prayer can make me sleepy rather than conversant with God. So these are all my tips. These are all my philosophy about resting your mind, your body, your spirit. And fortunately, tomorrow I will take a 2-day trip to the Sierra Madre mountain range, just near. It could be a 1-hour trip from home. And I will go with some friends. We will stay the night there. And I hope you can follow me in Instagram, in Facebook page, for you to see live I will be posting the sunset, the sunrise, the sea of clouds, and all the wonderful scenery there in that mountain range. So subscribe to my Instagram and Facebook pages, and of course, subscribe to my channel here and click the notification bell so you will know when I am publishing a new video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.